Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome to the Filmbusters podcast. The film show with no filters, no prisoners taken, loads of disagreements, but one hell of a love for cinema.
If you want to hear three friends ridiculing each other for an hour or so regarding their taste in films, then you have come to the right place.
In each episode, one of the team picks a film for us to discuss. It could be anything from a recent cinema release to an all-time classic.
So, strap in and get ready to get mad or get vindicated as we guide you through the murky world of being a film geek.
If you like what you hear, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram using @FilmbustersPod. You can also find each of our individual accounts. I'm at Filmbusters Paul.
I'm at Filmbusters Adam.
And I'm at Filmbusters Ben.
If you want to use your eyes instead of your ears, you can also visit the website at filmbusterspod.co.uk.
And if busting makes you feel good, you can also support us at patreon.com/filmbusters for exclusive content.
Alright, can we just get on with this now, please?
Filmbusters.
Right, everyone. I'm not going to be here next week, so what's going to happen while I'm gone? Is it going to go to hell?
Probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
We're going to get a guest on. This is somebody who I've watched many films about and I've talked about many times on the podcast. It's my friend Dan, and he loves Asian cinema. We don't know what film he's going to pick, so we're hoping
Yeah, you imagine it would be that.
he's going to pick it. The only things we said to him is don't tell us what it is, and basically make it so me and Ben haven't seen it before. He might have seen it, he might have not seen it, he doesn't know yet.
Interesting. That's exciting. I hope I get to see it before. Maybe it's something that's out already that I get to watch before I get back from holiday. That'd be nice.
I think it'll be an older film.
Yeah.
He was saying he wanted to bring a film he loves to the podcast, but he's scared that Ben's going to shit on it.
He didn't say that. He said that he was scared that both of us would shit on it.
You specifically.
I mean,
I don't think he cares what I would think because we've spoken about it many times before, but...
I mean, I've seen the scores that he gives certain films, so...
Like, if he bought Once Upon a Time in Hollywood here, you'd be a bit like,
No.
It's his favourite film ever.
I respect his opinion. I like that he has a very specific niche as well, so I'm really hoping that he does bring something from that niche. But yeah, it's going to be chaos, listeners, because we're recording face-to-face. All three of us are going to be in the room recording around one mic. It's going to be in the evening.
Yes.
We'll have only just watched the film. There'll be chaos. Adam will be all cocky because one of his lifelong mates is in the room. So he's going to be blabbing all over the place. We're going to be recording in Adam's home. So he's going to be super cocky.
Yep.
So apologies in advance for the upcoming episode, which may or may not be edited by Paul. We're still trying to work it out. It might be me guest editing.
Be broadcasted.
We'll see.
May have forgotten to be recorded at the time.
It may go straight to Patreon because it's considered so bad. Or people might say it's one of the best episodes we've ever done, and then Paul will be very hurt feelings.
And I'll be kicked out off the episode and the podcast forever.
The dynamic is just impeccable. You can't beat it.
I mean, we had a practice run on Saturday because we were all together on Saturday, but I cannot recall what was said.
Did we?
Uh-oh.
I mean, we were all together talking on Saturday, but I can't barely remember any conversation. I can't even remember us agreeing on
No, we did. The films that were picked out, he wanted to go down a level of doing, was it 120 Days of Salem?
Yeah, he wanted to go Depraved.
And Gumbo.
Oh, fuck me.
Gummo. He wanted to do Gummo. But, like, I would love to do Harmony Korine on this podcast, and I've considered it in the past, but the reality is so few of his films are available unless you buy them outright. Like, his good films are only available unless you're going to spend 20 quid.
Yeah, then we thought now we just maybe keep it a little bit more family friendly.
Available.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way.
Yeah, fuck availability. It's overrated. But anyway, the reason we're doing that is because Paul's going on holiday, leaving us for 10 days.
Yes. Where are you going, Paul?
Lanzarote.
Oh, the Lanzarote.
Lanzarote.
Lanzarote, as people say.
Yeah.
I'd never been. Is it scummy?
No, I've got some of the best memories of my life. It's, I'm not ashamed to say it's where I lost my virginity. It was...
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. I went there in 2001 and then returned 2002. And, I mean...
This is when you were living in Spain?
It was great for a teenager. No, I wasn't living in Spain yet. It was great for a teenager. I don't know what it'd be like now.
Where is Lanzarote? Is it near Spain or is it near Greece?
It's Canary Islands, Spain. Yeah, no. What part are you going to, by the way?
No idea. So it's very good actually because it is Zoe's mum's ex-boyfriend, who's still part of the picture because he kind of raised Zoe.
I met him.
He has
I
a
met him
flat
at your
there.
wedding.
Yeah, he's there.
Nice guy.
And he has a flat there, and basically, him and Zoe's mum just said, "We're taking you on holiday." Don't know any details. They pay for everything.
Wicked. Cool.
Yeah, it's great.
There is if it's Puerto del Carmen. If it's Puerto del Carmen, that's where I went.
Oh, it's right near
Lovely.
Morocco.
I'll let you know.
Let me know
Hope
what
there's some
you
goats and some trees. That's all I'm hoping for.
That was in Morocco. It's the only place in the world where they do that.
I can look over the water if it's close to Morocco.
Morocco.
That's what I call it.
The grotto in Morocco.
Lanzarote, Morocco.
Lanzarote. Good.
Yes,
Well, Paul
that's
is
what
off.
we're doing. Wonderful. Should
So
we move on
imagine-
to talking about some film?
Yeah, but let's do it. We're in 1951, for God's sake.
Yes. What are we doing today, Ben?
We are doing A Streetcar Named Desire.
This is your pick.
This is my
Yes.
pick.
Oh, it's very wonderful. Have you? I never even asked. Had you seen this film before?
I'm not going to say nothing till we get to the point. Till we get to my thingy.
It's the point. Okay. Okay. Well, let me get it towards the point. Say we got a Patreon channel at www.patreon.com/filmbusters. We have exclusive content. We have a wonderful family. You can come on the show. You can choose the episodes we do, and it's a very great place over there. Adam, what are we doing on the Patreon today after this episode?
We are talking about our favourite films in a vehicle.
Yes. Do you know who actually inspired this episode?
The man who inspired this year. Julio.
Yes, Mr. Julio. He wanted us to do it because obviously it's a streetcar named Desire. I'm guessing he just wants stuff with a vehicle in.
Yeah, man.
The streetcar
Yes.
inspired him.
Well, we have, but like we said, we've now done 3 vehicle-related films in a row, pretty much, since me and Paul did Patreon
that's true.
Plane, and then we went to Trains with Strangers on a Train, and then Streetcar. That's an automobile, although it's not technically an automobile because a streetcar's a tram, but still.
Yeah, it's like a tram. Yeah,
But it's a car, so we'll
that's
loosely allow
one
it.
thing I realised watching this film. I was like, I thought that it was a car.
Hey, we'll loosely allow it. We'll loosely allow it. Who's checking up on us?
Exactly. Yes, that's very fun. I've got some ones that hopefully no one's got, so we'll see.
Well, guess what? I only got 2 because I started prepping it last night and then I got distracted. So I'm going to be a section of my brain throughout this podcast will be dedicated to thinking of the 3rd.
Oh, very good.
I just completely forgot to look at it, so I just put on Letterboxd
Of course
right
he has.
now. And I've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
my
You've
three.
gone onto
Standard.
Letterboxd and searched lists, vehicle-related films.
I just went through. I always go through my highest rated films and then just go through it that way.
Stupid
Well,
boy.
let's see what you come up with, shall we?
You'll be scrolling for ages, mate, because I'm sure a film set predominantly on a vehicle is not going to be necessarily a 10 or a 9.
Well, we're gonna have arguments about this, aren't we?
Yeah. Because you're not going to pick one that is predominantly set on a vehicle. You're going to pick one like where
I
they're
would
on
argue every
a
single
car
one
for
of
2
them is
minutes.
predominantly set on a vehicle.
I know already, actually, I've just clocked. I know exactly what you're going to pick.
Go on then.
No.
I'm not gonna say yes or no. I just want to know what you're thinking.
Italian Job.
No. I wouldn't class that as. I wouldn't say that was a film, movie, vehicle film.
Film movie vehicle film. Call the patron that, Paul.
Full movie vehicle.
Film movie vehicle film.
Okay, I will do.
But anyway, yeah,
Yes.
you can join us on that after this.
That'll be fun. Should we move swiftly on to the staple of every episode, Adam?
Yes. The quiz. I'm not gonna lie. I struggled this week to get quiz questions.
Did you now?
Yep. So only one of them is about the film.
Okay.
What's the other one about?
Made it up.
What do you mean made
about
it
film.
up? There better be a definite answer.
There is 100% a definite answer.
Did I like this film? Yes or no?
No. Okay. Shall I go for the quiz?
Do the scores, yeah. Tell us how we do
so
it.
what's the scores?
3 to Paul, 3 to me, 1 to you.
He said it. I repeat that. That's how it works. If they get the question right, they get the point. If I get the question right, I get the point.
That's a
You
bit of a
ready for your
cheater
first
if you get
question?
the question right.
I know.
Well, are you ready for your first question, lad?
I think so.
Let's have it.
What is the name of the hotel she actually claims she stays at?
Tarantula.
Tarantula Arms.
I'm giving that to Paul.
Thank
because
you.
it is the Tarantula Arms.
You motherfucker.
I thought for a second, like, I swear it's had something. Yes, Tarantula Arms.
On a technicality, I lose that. Fuck you.
You were in as well so quickly.
If I hadn't said tarantula, would you have said tarantula arms, Paul?
I would, but you just got there quicker than me.
All right. I'll
And
allow
number
it.
2 question.
Yeah.
What is the current most popular film on Letterboxd this week?
Oh, what?
What, this week?
Yep.
After Sun.
Right now. Right now.
After
right
Sun.
this moment. No.
Babylon.
No.
Or...
It's Knock at the Cabin.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Babylon's number 2. After Sun's like not even in the top 20.
The, Oh, well, but Adam got the point there.
There you go.
Yeah.
4-3-2.
Fun, mix it up.
4-3-2. I'm
Did
happy.
mix
It's
it up.
fine.
On a damn technicality, Adam is getting revenge on me all them times that I shafted him out of points. On
He's the
technicality.
quiz host.
Normally shafted me out the points, to be honest.
Oh, dear. Well, there you go. Look at that.
Well done, Adam. Thanks for being a good quiz host as usual.
As always.
Yes. Should we move on to the film?
Let's go to the film.
Yes.
A Streetcar Named Desire.
We'll wait till she's through soaking in the hot tub, and then I'm going to inquire if she is acquainted with Napoleonic Code.
Stanley, don't be so silly.
It looks to me like you've been swindled, baby, and when you get swindled on Napoleonic Code, I get swindled too, and I don't like to get swindled.
Oh, Stanley, you've no idea how ridiculous you're being. You suggest that my sister or I or anyone else of our family could have perpetrated a swindle on anyone.
Oh, come on. Now, where's the money if the place was sold?
Not sold, lost. Lost.
Come here.
Stanley! Oh.
Now, will you just open your eyes to this stuff here? Now, I mean, what, has she got this out of teacher's pay?
Hush.
Will you look at these fine feathers and furs and she comes to bring herself in here? What is this article? That's a solid gold dress, I believe.
Oh, honest.
And this one here. And what is that, fox piece? That's genuine fur fox, a half a mile long. Where are your fox pieces? This is bushy Snow White ones, no less. Where are your white fox furs?
Those are inexpensive summer furs that Blanche has had a long time.
Right, everyone. Today we're doing A Streetcar Named Desire from 1951 by Elia Kazan. This is a spoiler episode, so if you haven't seen it, you might want to go watch it first and then come back and listen because we're going to spoil it terribly for you. There's no one who have been in films we've done before. This is our first Marlon Brando film.
Is it?
Ah, wow. Yeah, I suppose it is. I was trying to think when I was watching it, have we covered Brando?
No.
Obviously, we know he's in huge films, but we just never covered any of them.
Yeah. So this is
They're
it.
almost too big to cover.
Yeah. This is number 1. Here we go. So, straight on, Adam,
Brando. For the
plot of
first
this
time.
film.
This film is about a tram car called Desire.
A tram car.
Well, that's what I would call it. A tram car. It's not. They call
Oh,
them
a
street
tram. I
cars,
thought you said a
don't they?
trown.
Yeah, that is what he said. So now he's trying to
Oh,
back
it's a
away from
tram.
it. But
It's a tram car called Desire. No, I would call it. That's why I got confused at the beginning. I thought it was about an actual car, but no, that's what they call them in America. This is about a girl who moves in with her sister, and Marlon Brando's very hot and he's very steamy.
Brandon.
And he's very hot and he's very steamy in his tight little shirt,
Very sweaty.
Okay.
and she doesn't like it, and it ruins her life.
You don't like it.
She doesn't like it.
Oh, she don't like that.
There you go. Do you want some backstory?
Yes, Ben. Can you
Yeah.
give us some backstory?
Let's have some backstory. So this was adapted from Tennessee Williams' Pulitzer Prize-winning play of the same name, directed, as you say, Paul, by Elia Kazan, starring Vivian Leigh as Blanche Dubois, Marlon Brando as Stanley Kowalski, Kim Hunter as Stella, and Carl Malden as Mitch. Kazan directed the original Broadway production, also directs the film here, and he brought with him Brando, Hunter and Malden, but due to the studios wanting a bigger name for Blanche Dubois, the original actress from Broadway, Jessica Tandy, was dropped in favour of Vivian Leigh, who most audiences would know because of Gone with the Wind. And in Brando's autobiography, he praised original actress Jessica Tandy, but he felt that Leigh ended up being the definitive depiction of Blanche Dubois. Even though the play never leaves the constraints of Stella and Stanley's apartment, the film expands the scope slightly, adding several different settings. And due to the censorship laws at the time, which we talked about last week, the Hayes/Hollywood Production Code, many changes had to be made to the original source material, but we'll discuss that as we get into the meat of the episode. Brando at the time was a complete unknown, but shot to Hollywood royalty as a result of the film's success. He was nominated for Best Actor at the Academy Awards, but didn't win, and would go on to be nominated a further 3 times in every consecutive year following the release of this film for different films, until eventually winning for On the Waterfront, which was also directed by Elia Kazan. This is what's crazy. It was nominated in 12 categories at the Oscars. It made history for being the first film to win in 3 of the acting categories. Lee, Malden and Hunter all won.
I was trying to work that out
theirs.
because I was looking through the awards that it got, and it got all 4 acting, and it got Best Picture and Best Director.
Yes.
Surely that's like your Full House, isn't it?
Yeah, but Brando didn't win. That's the
No,
thing.
he didn't win it, but I was saying he got nominated for it.
Yes.
And I was just trying to see if it was like the first film to get all of that.
No, it was the first to win all 3 in the acting categories.
Has anyone ever won all 4?
Probably. I don't know. We'll have to put that out to the audience.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't do our research. There's no way of finding out.
No. You go ahead and find out and trawl the Academy Awards archives. And as with our previous film, Strangers on a Train, it was selected by the US National Film Registry to be added to the Library of Congress for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. And let's see if Paul is going to continue that trend with the film that he picks for the next film in 1951.
Well, if I knew that was a trend, it's probably too late.
No, it's not too late. You can always change the film.
Nope,
see, just
never
for that.
changing. It could be. You never know. I've never looked.
Could be. Now let's cut the rebop.
Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, well, this is your pick, so you get to decide what order you want our first impressions in.
Adam, Paul, me.
Well, I'm just going to go back to the acting thing. So there's been a couple of films that have been nominated for all 4 of them, and 3 is the most that anyone's ever got.
Is that right? No one.
Yep.
There's never been a film that's taken Full House.
No.
Wow.
A Streetcar Named Desire's got 3 of them. From Here to Eternity's got 3 of them. No, 2 of them, sorry. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
only that one,
Streetcar's
and
the
Network.
only film that's
Wow,
ever
interesting.
won.
That and Network, sorry.
What, Network's had 3 or 2?
Network got nominated for 4 of them and it won 3 of them.
Okay. So
But also, there's films like Sunset Boulevard that got nominated for all 4 and didn't win any of them.
yeah, well, there you go. Nominations.
And American Hustle was the same thing.
Oh, how can you compare? How can you compare American? Well, anyway.
Silver Linings Playbook got nominated for all 4.
All right. Let's have your opinion on the film now, please.
I'm first.
Yes, you are.
Sorry, I was just tapping away and Googling. So I think Brando in this film is excellent, and so is, I've forgotten her name now, but she is also incredible. The 2 of them are just so good.
Vivian Lee.
That's it, Vivian Lee. They are excellent, like, as a duo, not bouncing off each other, but the way their characters, everything is, they play both of their characters, I think, down to a T. And I think if this is the first time you've seen Brando act as well, and it's coming to the stage, he's just like, he's so different to everybody else especially in Strangers on a Train, and in this film, it's like, they all play this safe acting, don't they? It's almost, you react to each other, where he is like taking scenes and being the lead, and it is just tremendous. However, I did struggle to get into this film. I enjoyed it. I think it's such a good film at the bottom, and it's a film that I would probably go back to at some point and watch it again. I just think I wasn't in the mood for it. I just really, really struggled to get into it, and it's like, but it's annoying because it was so good at the core of it. But if someone went, "This is my favourite film," I'm not going to go, "Yeah, I didn't enjoy it," but I don't think, I wouldn't argue against it. I'll be like, "Yeah, fair play." I think I can see why people love this film, and I get it. All the ingredients are there. They just wasn't for me on that day. It's like someone's made me the best cake in the world, and I just
You don't want
didn't enjoy
cake.
it that
Food
day.
analogy.
I don't want cake.
Yeah, there we go.
I wanted a fruit salad.
There you go.
You're on a
Adam's
health
on a
kick.
calorie counting fix at the moment, and he's just been served up a big slice of steaming hot chocolate fudge cake, and he's like, "Not today, bro." That's how he felt about Streetcar Named Desire.
I appreciate how good it is, but at the same time,
At the same time, I'm on a health kick.
Yeah, exactly. Put that on the poster.
I want Godzilla. Give me Godzilla already.
Yeah, I bet you do.
You want me?
Let's have you.
Okay, so I had never seen this film before, and I have to say I'm very torn on how I feel about it. Like, just taking Vivian as a character, for example, at first I was like, what is this accent she's doing? For starters, it was totally distracting, and she felt like, and the character herself just felt totally consumed with herself, and I was like, oh man, is this what we're going to deal with? But then I kind of got to grips with it, and I actually felt like, yeah, she's putting across a great performance here, and she was putting across a great performance. But then I just felt like she was doing some generic hysterical woman character, which was so commonly used at the time, especially seeing as I've watched so many ghost films lately. There's so many hysterical women in there, and it's pretty much that was the characterization she was going for. Then I thought, no, wow, this feels actually incredibly original for the time, because it's very much focused on like psychosis and stuff, and like tackling someone with severe psychosis. And I think I was left somewhere in the middle by the end of the film. And I mean, like, Marlon Brando is wonderful, of course, but what a fucking prick. Right? And I think half the struggle with this film is going along with the mindset to these characters, and like the mentality of Stanley and Stella's relationship is so grating, and like to pair that with Blanche's hysteria at times, it's hard to find your in, or it is for me anyway. But it's certainly an interesting one. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I just came out feeling like a little annoyed by the mindsets and decision making, and just I didn't really gel with the characters too much. But I had a fair time. That's me.
You sound a bit like Howells.
Fair time. Yeah, I reckon you've probably given it the same score. I'd wager.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. So I got a long history with A Streetcar Named Desire.
Okay.
I studied it for what felt like months when I was in sixth form at school, the play. So I'm going to feel real bad if I don't hit on all the key themes and shit that we discussed back then, but it was like almost 20 years ago. I would have failed my English teachers. But without giving my score for the film away, I adored the play. I still do. The play is perfect. It's 10 out of fucking 10.
Oh, wow.
I love it. And as a teenager, it was genuinely, for me, it was transformative for a couple of reasons. I was thinking about this. One, it made me fall in love with theatre. I'd never been to the theatre before reading this play. So it made me fall in love with the idea of setting something in one or two places and creating characters through dialogue, right? I think this is why I love dialogue-based films more than any other play. I think I can trace it back to reading the play and seeing this film. I think that is my connection to it. And I think for me as a teenager as well, like bear in mind, as a teenage boy, 15, 16, yeah, it made me care about this Southern Belle from almost a century ago, in a state of mental illness, dealing with and just I get what you're saying. We'll talk about it. I get what you're saying about the hysterical woman trope, but I kind of feel like Blanche Dubois is the template,
Right,
the best template for her. You hear Blanche Dubois in contemporary stories, films and whatnot, when talking about a woman on the brink of madness who's just about to slip away. I think that she, like Vivian Lee's performance as Blanche Dubois, that character Blanche Dubois is probably the greatest performance from an actress and as a character that they had been at up to that point. I don't know who would have come best. But I also love that this play from that far back was dealing with things like mental illness, sexual deviancy, all these sordid desires, things that weren't very mainstream to talk about at the time. and it travelled all the fucking way to the 21st century. Anyway, that's the play. That's how I feel about the play. But obviously, it's how I feel about the film a little bit as well. So when I was in English class, we studied the play, then we watched the film many times, and then I bought the film many times. I bought it on DVD, then on Blu-ray, and now I have it on Steelbook, one of the very, very few Steelbooks that I still own.
Wow.
And I think Vivian Lee's Devoir is perfect. I don't think you can fault it. Brando is fucking perfect. He was and is still seared into my brain as Stanley Kowalski. That is iconic. And Brando created method acting when he did Stanley Kowalski. What you were saying about Strangers in the Train there, about how the acting styles seem so set apart and so different, is true, because Brando took on method acting. He immersed himself in a character rather than waiting to say his line as they were doing. Every fucking line of dialogue, every step he takes is just so imposing and fucking brutal. Terrifying. Love it. All the themes are there that I fucking love. Hidden beneath the surface: suicide, homosexuality, statutory rape, actual rape. All of those things are there, and enough is done in the film to make up for the losses that there was a compromise on having to lose from the play, because the play is much more upfront about some of those things. For me, ultimately, we will talk about a lot of stuff in this episode, I'm sure, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about, but ultimately I think the film is about the failings of humanity and how kindness and understanding is what kills off people. The lack of kindness and lack of understanding, because everyone in this film is flawed. Everyone is prejudicial. People don't trust, people deceive, and it leads to the fall of everyone. As I say, the play is a fucking 10 out of 10. I adore it. I'll tell you what I think about the film at the very end. My rating for the film at the very end.
Interesting. So that's actually really interesting, because like now you have a different kind of, because you studied it, you know, like a lot. I'm interested, like you know your take on it and like certain characters and what you think their mindsets are and stuff like that. So yes, this adds a new element.
I do not want to turn it into an English class, because that'd be very, very dry and stuff. But I thought what would be good is to talk about a couple of themes, address it rather than going through the story. We've seen the story. We gave our overview of how we feel about the story. To talk about some characters and some themes and just discuss, because like I said, it was a long fucking time ago.
Sure.
Let me perhaps put this to you boys first, just to make sure, because I'm not sure. It may be painfully obvious, but I'm not sure. Did you know about the 3 key changes? Have you read about them before, or did you read about them after? The 3 key changes that were made in the film that weren't in the play.
I know nothing.
No, I know nothing.
Okay, so all these things are hinted at. You either got them or you didn't. I just don't know. I don't know if it's obvious or not, because obviously I knew. So Blanche's young husband who shot himself, what was your understanding of that situation?
That he was also had depression and that he killed himself.
Yes. Okay. What about you, Adam?
I thought it was something to do with her and the way she treated him and the way she was regarded in society, that he couldn't deal with. Like the new boyfriend was struggling with that as well.
Okay, so in the play, he's homosexual. She finds out that he's gay, says that he's disgusting, that he's weak, and he kills himself because of it. So they hint at it in the film. If you go back and watch the scene where she's talking to Mitch about that, she hints that he was a poet. I've never met a man so in love with poetry. He was very sensitive, and the fact that she freaks out at him because he's so sensitive, causing him to run outside and shoot himself. Actually, in the play, she catches him with the younger man, making him kill himself. So that was one change. The Hollywood Code said, you can't have that. So
I was about to say that. Like when you mentioned homosexuality, I was thinking, where is that in the play?
Yes.
Or in the film.
So that is the whole reason for... In the play, she is racked with guilt. As she is in the film, but she is racked with guilt because of... she blames herself for the death of her young husband by chastising him for being gay.
So how was that changed in the play? Sorry, that he wasn't gay in the play.
So he's gay in the play,
Oh, okay, right.
So he was homosexual. So she catches him with another man in the play.
They make that obvious in the play.
Yes, very much so.
Right. Okay.
Very much so.
Can I just ask a question? Just in talking about this, does this in any way like cause Blanche to be so like concerned with her appearance because she was worried why he didn't fancy her or something?
I think you would read it that way.
Yeah.
I think you would read it that way. I think so. There's a recurring theme. Fuck, I hate this. I want to talk like this, but I also don't because I don't.
I'm happy for you to fucking lecture us on this film. No, go for it, man. Because I feel like it's that type of film. Because also, when I was looking for questions for this film, I did have a quick Google, and I was like, just is there any like you can play around with some questions? They all came up as essay questions, and all of these like different subjects that people would obviously talk about if you were studying it in English and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, like. This is why we have to be careful because the play and the film are different.
Right. Yeah.
Not
talk,
massively
man.
I'm
happy to sit here.
Well,
and
hang on.
listen to you
Before, okay. All right. So
I don't have a lot to say on this one. So.
All right. So on that point, let me put it to you. I'm going to pretend to be the English teacher here in the least patronising way. I'm going to pose a question to you. Okay. So interesting that you say that, Paul. What do you think that means? Okay. So she doesn't think she's pretty enough. She's thinking about the fact that her husband was actually attracted to a man. What else is there in the film that might suggest that?
I feel like that's half the reason why it was turned me off the character in the beginning, because she's so consumed with having her makeup on, making sure she's clean, like everything. It seems to be consumed with her appearance. She has to hide in the shadows and like until she's ready to come out and look perfect for whoever's in the room. And she's got to play up to every man in the room almost. At all times.
He needs to be wanted by other men too much.
Yeah. But I'd say, so a psychological thing, which wasn't necessarily just there because her husband killed himself, but was there already. So the constant bathing and cleaning is like washing off of the guilt that she feels.
Right, yeah.
For what happened with her husband. The constant presentation is exactly as you say, because she felt rejected by this man and other men, needs to be accepted by men as an archetype of womanhood, a pretty woman. She's getting older, but the fact that she chases after these. So this goes into another change, which is they talk about it in the film, but it's a bit more obvious in the play. They talk about her relationship with a younger student, and that's why she was fired. Yeah. So he was underage in the play, and they make a bit more of a big deal about the fact that she was sleeping with him. And in the film, you see the delivery guy come over who's very young, and you hear about his dalliances with younger men. Her pursuit of these younger men is so that she can stop aging herself, because if she ages, she's getting closer to death. She wants to de-age so she can go back to a time before her husband killed himself. She wants to return almost to a teenage innocence without all of this. Yes, she wants to push against death, and the constant cleaning, the making her beautiful, the avoiding the light, covering the light up. Like the light is going to show her for what she is. It's going to show that she's aging. It's going to show that she was responsible for his death. It's going to show her for all her flaws, but she has to live in a fantasy world for her own protection. So everything has to be completely different. Hence why she's spending so much time in the fucking bath. She has to be clean. She has to present herself as perfect, because if she doesn't do that, she has to face who she is and what she is. But for her, the fantasy overwhelms the fucking reality, and whatever condition she is suffering from, she's completely fucking consumed by it.
Absolutely, yeah. See, this is the thing. I wonder if maybe this is better read or seen as a play than the film. Because I wonder if you'd get this if you didn't have knowledge of the play beforehand.
Well, I don't know. I don't know, because I've only ever seen the film after having already read the play.
Because I don't think they like. It's one small segment about the ex-boyfriend or ex-lover killing himself, and I know you could probably like transcend that's something to do with why she's the way she is, but because it's such a small segment, and it's not even it's not like it's near the beginning of the film, so you can kind of convey the rest of the film from there. I think it's just so minor that it's almost like, well, I understand he killed himself, so this is why she's so like caught up in a mental state.
It's not in there a lot in the play, but there is in the film. You know, when she keeps hearing that musical tune whenever she's thinking about her husband and talking about her husband, it's like that haunting memory is there. But you're right, they don't go over it again. It's because of the fucking code that said you can't. We're not going to allow you to talk about that too much. But they do. It's more obvious in the play, but because they had to conceal it in the film, they have to make comments like he was a sensitive boy, etc.
So you couldn't talk about suicide and homosexuality in films?
You couldn't talk about anything that was deemed indecent. So, for example, basically, right, connected to this, there was the Hollywood Code, which said, okay, no indecency, no swearing, no filth, no sex, no drugs, all of that sort of stuff. You have to cover it up for decency's sake. But also, there was another organisation called the National Decency League, I think it was, headed up. It's an entirely Christian.
That name?
Well, this was a Christian organisation, right? And when they saw the film, they were like, "This has to be banned. This cannot come out." And they actually ended up releasing this film heavily cut, and it was only the director's cut, which has more obvious stuff in it, but still not the full version of the play, only came out in the last 20 or 30 years. Question for you,
Did it come
boys,
out in
actually.
71? Because that's when my film was technically, it said it in the credits at the end, that's when it was released.
So did you see the director's cut? Do you know?
I wouldn't even know.
Okay, well, I'll tell you how you'll know. I'll tell you how you'll know. When Stanley is going, Stella, Stella, in the rain,
Yeah.
when she comes out, does she just come down the stairs, or does she wait standing on the stairs looking at him a certain way?
She waits standing on the stairs.
Okay, is that the same for you, Adam?
Well, this is the one in the middle of the film when he gets covered in water, doesn't it? And that big fight and she runs out. Yeah. She stands, she looks down at him.
Okay, then that's the director's cut. Because, for example, that Christian organisation said the way that she's looking at him on the stairs, like almost being seduced by him, cut it.
Well, she clearly just jumps into his arms right down the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah, she does.
It's like same thing.
Fuck him.
I know, but they changed it. But there's a jazzy soundtrack, so the director's cut that she's holding on the stairs.
Really good.
Yeah, it is super jazzy. It's great, but the Christians said cut that. You've got to change it to some like fantasy stuff. Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, let me just tell you the other key changes, because then they're done. In the play, it's obvious that Stanley rapes her at the end. That it's not hinted at. He grabs the bottle from her, says, "Tiger, Tiger, put that bottle down."
Head into the mirror bit.
I mean, I did assume he raped her.
In the film, that's where it ends, and then in the play, he knocks her out, lifts her up in his arms, storms off to the bedroom, and it's made quite clear. And here is the biggest difference, the absolute biggest difference, and for me, a slight game changer. And before I tell you, you tell me. The very ending, when she's carted off to the institute. What were your takes on the ending? How did you feel? Were you satisfied with the ending, that what happens at the end, particularly with Stella and Stanley?
I mean, not enough.
No, she shouldn't have gone back with him. She should have left and gone away.
She's literally trying to tell him that he raped her as well, and she's pretty much. Although she's a bit annoyed at him at the end, saying "Don't touch me." It's like, man, you're still living in this house with this man.
Yeah.
Wait. That's not what happens at the end of the film.
Yeah, and then she gets taken away. That's what I mean. It's all that same kind of segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I mean is, so hang on a minute. Don't tell me that you've seen some other version that I don't even know exists. Basically, when Stella, after Blanche is carted away, and Stanley comes over to Stella, and she's like, "Don't touch me! Don't you ever touch me again!" Yeah. Then she grabs the baby and goes running up the stairs, and it ends with him shouting Stella again.
Yeah, that happens.
And she runs up,
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, so she is leaving him.
Oh no, but I mean, it's.
I wouldn't say leaving him. She's just gone upstairs to her mum's.
Yeah, the thing's already happened, and Blanche has already told Stella that he raped her, and she's still in that house, and only when she gets carted away does she run away.
Yeah,
so I don't think that's good enough.
Okay, well, anyway, in the film, that's her leaving him. That was the implication.
Right.
Because she says to the child, "We're never going to be hurt by him again," and runs up the stairs, and he shouts, "Stella!" It's
In
it's
the
meant to
play,
be
he says that.
in the film.
Did he say that in the film? Did she say that in
Yeah,
the film?
when she says to him, "Don't ever touch me again," then she grabs the baby and she says something along the lines of, "We're not going to." Well, we're not. So she says something about we're not going to be with him again, and then runs up the stairs up to Eunice's, suggesting that she's walked out on Stanley. I'm only saying this because this is one of the key changes. Because in the play, that's not what happens at all. In the play, you'd be much unhappier if you didn't like her reaction in the film. Because in the play, when Blanche is carted away, Stanley comes over to Stella, who's all upset, and he's like, "Don't worry, baby girl. Don't worry, baby girl. We're going to be okay." And then he opens her blouse and starts reaching up her leg to
Jesus.
feel her up, and she sort of just seduces into him, and the play ends as if to say she's
together.
stuck with
Do you
him.
know what? I'd say the play sounds so much more like braver in what it's trying to do, and it's really going for what it's trying to say, like showing the past with the homosexual boyfriend, really going into talking about being seducing the students, and then going with that with Stanley. That sounds like a better picture for me to watch something like that. 100%.
But that is the fucking problem with the production code. It's like if you wanted to make that version, you simply couldn't. The only way you could do it is hint at it.
Yeah.
So they had to create this sort of slightly coddled version. But there's an interview with the actress on the Blu-ray. There's an interview with the actress who played Stella, and she's saying, they made us do this ending where she grabs the baby and runs away from Stanley, and she's like, that Stella would never do that. There's nothing that we have seen in the story that would suggest she would do that. She's completely seduced and caught up in who Stanley is. She like Blanche, she will decide to live in fantasy. When Blanche tells her, or essentially has told her that Stanley did this, she says, I can't believe that about him. I can't. So the only alternative is to bury your head in the sand, live in fantasy, and actually say your sister is the crazy one and cart her off. The ironic thing being that Blanche is carted off as crazy for one of the few things that she was
not crazy about.
The truth about. Yeah.
I did feel sorry for her when she got taken away. I was like, no. I mean, like, she's all over the place, but she doesn't deserve to be put in. She doesn't deserve to be like sectioned or whatever they did.
I mean, she needs help.
Yeah, she needs help, but not that level of it. Not like just give her a therapist. Don't fucking lock her in a hospital.
I mean, she was on the verge, but she was, when she arrives, like, I know that Paul, you were slightly annoyed by her, but she's not someone that you'd be like, this person needs to be locked in a mental hospital. You're like, oh, you're a bit grating, that this is a bit over the top. She's flighty.
She's been through a lot.
She's been through a lot. You can understand why Stanley is put out by her to an extent.
Yeah.
She questions him. She pushes back on him a little bit, and
but these two forces, these two fucking strong opposing forces, they couldn't be more different, clashing and pushing in the middle, and he destroys her. He fucking destroys her.
I just think his performance in her they are fantastic. Like, they are really good, and I just struggled to get into the film as a whole. I sit back and I appreciate what they've done. It's just I struggle to get into it.
I have to agree with that as well. I think it was half the fact of not going strong enough with what you're trying to do for me, because I just saw them like until about halfway. I was like, okay, now I know what you're trying to do. I just didn't even understand that she was like mentally compromised from the off. I thought she was just really eccentric, annoying, really up herself, and I was like, oh man, she's really annoying. And I can understand why Stanley didn't like her, but obviously he was a bit strong with it. And then I think after the halfway mark, then he really starts going too far with it, like booking her train tickets, telling Mitch
about
her past, and but I don't know. I think it was too late for me by then. It was almost too late because I wanted a bigger message for it.
Every time a scene started, I was like, fuck it, this is where I'm getting into this film, and then I was just like, I can't get into it. It was always a little bit like that. Every like passage of change of like the new. I was like, okay, come on, now you can get into it. Now let's start rolling. You might not have liked that first bit, but now you're gonna like this bit. And I think I can sit down here and list everything I liked about it more than I disliked, because that's what I saw it as. But I just, as a whole, struggled to get into it.
It's one of those things. I can totally see people really digging this film, and especially you, because this is like peak Ben. This is you just watching just dialogue play out and all set in one location, and it is just like a play. And I know that's absolutely you, but there has to be a certain something for me. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's because I'm just into more like bombastic kind of over the top
escapism.
I need something else. I think the characters weren't giving me their direction enough in this, and it was just more a case of, okay, well, you're just a really annoying character.
Listen, I would have been stunned if you two had come and were like, fucking loved this film. So that's cool. I get it totally, and also maybe there is something in the fact that I did it in English, so you have more of an access point. Like maybe if I'd just picked the book up at 15 and read it without in an English class, I may have been like, what the fuck are these characters talking about? I don't know what the hell's going on here. I don't know who my access point is. Only because of how it is now. I think like the reality is what you said, Paul, is how you're meant to feel though. Like when she turns up, you don't understand what she's about, so you are meant to think, who is this person coming into her sister's house, slagging off her living conditions, slagging off her husband? Of course, Stanley's right to rally against her. But then, brilliantly, I think, each scene starts shifting it bit by bit to the point where you become less sympathetic to Stanley and more sympathetic to Blanche the madder she gets. And it's like this back and forth constantly between the two, because neither are right. In my opinion, in this story, in the film, there is no character that is 100% wrong. Some of the actions they do are wrong, yeah, but there is no one who is 100% wrong. There's no one who's 100% right. Everyone is completely fucking layered. And this is one of the things that we talk about when we say, we can't just watch things where the characters that we root for are these perfect individuals who represent always doing the right thing in situations. Nobody does.
It's the same as Strangers on the Train as well. Neither of them are wrong and right.
Well, there you go, the balance. These two opposing forces coming. It's massively hinges on, as the fucking name says, desire, about passion, the different ways that people approach passion. Because Blanche's whole thing is, for her, she loves men, she loves to be the centre of attention. This is just her personality, but she represents that sort of like aristocracy almost, where all these men are swanning around her and giving her lots of attention and focus. And Stanley, like several times in the film, just refuses to
he
pay
loved
her
it at the beginning.
compliments.
He was playing on it a little at the beginning, wasn't he? He was flirting with her and
no, but he wasn't.
Like he was. When that very first interaction that they had,
He wasn't giving into it, I felt.
He weren't giving in.
He knew that he had her. Like he knew that.
Yeah, but he was not wrapped up. Look, compared to Mitch, the minute Mitch sees him, Mitch is agog. His tongue's rolling out of his mouth, and Mitch is ready to walk away from the card games. He's ready to introduce her to his mother. Stanley's like holding back. He's like, I'm not that type. I don't go in for that shit. And Stanley's like this. He's the fucking working class by comparison. Like, we are not. And here is the most wanky thing that I'll ever say, but I got to say it because it's out there as a big theme. Contextually, historically, this was just after World War II. New Orleans was transitioning from this big aristocratic place with all these big plantations and houses into a working class town where there were all these jobs in these factories and stuff. So it was an analogy for the working man rising and becoming more critical to the city than all these rich fucks who live there. So at the end, when Stanley compromises Blanche and takes over, it's like the working class taking over from the upper class.
Yeah,
but a horrible message on the working class.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
just
you're a brute.
a representative. I know, but it's a horrible message of the upper class as well. With the upper class who look down on the lower class.
Right,
If you keep telling someone they're shit, they're going to rail against you. But obviously, in the purposes of the play, the analogy, rape, the brutalization of that, if the lower class raping the upper class.
It is a hard one because I know this is not necessarily for every film, but I always. Well, especially when it's very character-driven, a film, I want where is my character that I'm gonna most sympathise with, and but my line's gonna go with, and it's hard to find anyone in this film. It's especially not Stanley, and I think from the off because I didn't have any experience of what this was gonna be, I did just see Blanche as this really annoying person, and then I know it's not her fault. It's just the fucking situation she's in. But Stella, I'm like, why the fuck are you going back to this guy? You're annoying me. And it's so hard to find my in of this film.
But you
that
see,
was my struggle.
I get that, but that is the beauty of it because it is real.
Of course, yeah. But it's half to do with the you know what? I couldn't possibly say, just like you couldn't possibly say, but if I watched the stage play, I think I could potentially love this story even more than watching this film. And
yes, it's very possible. It'd be interesting now you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And now that I've told you that stuff, if you were to watch the film again, if you might take it more kindly to it.
Yeah, because you kind of know the mindsets of the characters, why they're in that situation, but it's hard. I'll never know what, going into this from just seeing the play like you have, and whether it's gonna live up to the play. I'm surprised. I'll see by your score anyway later on, but how much you love this compared to, obviously you think 10 out of 10 the play. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the characters for a second here now.
Yeah.
Because talking about the fact that you couldn't really find an endpoint, let's talk about the one that gets overlooked. Let's talk about Stella, because you hinted at it.
Yeah.
And how she responds to both her sister and Stanley. How do you view her character? Do you think she's pathetic? Do you think she's good, bad? What do you think?
It's not that she has a strength there, because she answers back to him. She tries to have a way with him, but she never really gets the upper hand, and he would always win out in the end, and that's, I think, the annoying thing for me. And just like you say, the ending where she runs away with the baby, I think for me that is watered down because of the fact that she's done this throughout the film, and it's well, she's just going to go back to him again because that's what's happened before.
Yeah, that's what I mean when you said oh, do you think she? It doesn't really feel like she left him because she didn't say it. She didn't
did the
say
same
it outright.
thing. She went up.
She
to
just
the
ran
apartment
upstairs once
before.
and she's come down. It just felt like she was going through the cycles again and again. And I know but I think she might have had the blinkered glasses on at the beginning because she's in love with him. They're newly married, aren't they? They're about to have they had a child together and all of that kind of stuff. So she's going to obviously take his side at the beginning, give him the benefit of the doubt. But yeah.
Yeah.
That could be the catalyst, you see, Stella at the end to actually leave after all that time.
Yeah. I mean, I feel conflicted talking about her character based on what she does at the end in the film.
Yeah, compared to the play.
Because really, Stella, but we are talking about the film, so fuck that. But yeah. The fact that she runs away at the end, I think the filmmakers, even though we're saying she's just going to go back to him anyway, I think the intention in the film is to very much put a full stop and be her seeing Blanche getting carted away screaming. She suddenly realizes what the fuck she's done. She's like, no, that's it. I'm not going to it's almost like protecting the child, the newborn, the new generation. I'm not going to let this child grow up in this house, in this world with this brute. Away we go. I think that was the intention of the film. The play ending is far superior, clearly, because it means much more.
It's also that classic Hollywoodizing a story. Just it needs to have a happy ending because it's different. It's different for cinema audiences, isn't it? because they need to capture a wider audience and they want them to have a good time. Whereas I think
they want
theatre is
that,
very
exactly, it's that
different.
holiday ending. Hollywood ending, yeah.
Yeah, I think people can dig a theatre show more because it's always about tragedies and stuff like that. So I think people dig that more at the theatre.
So I haven't seen any of the other versions of it. I know that there have been other versions of Streetcar Named Desire that have been made since the code ended. So maybe it works better in the film. I don't know. I think Alec Baldwin's in one, but the reality is it's never going to be as good as, even with the inclusion of what's in a play, it's never going to be as good as this, because for all of that stuff, the performances from everyone in this are outstanding.
So good.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Won the Oscar over Brando getting it.
I can't remember. I saw that yesterday. I can't remember. But that, I mean, it's a travesty. I think this is a travesty. I can say it now because I couldn't say it up front. How the fuck did Marlon Brando not win an Oscar for this performance?
He was probably... It's probably one of those things where he came in to be too revolutionised for Hollywood and scared people. And they were like, if you give it to him now, all the actors have got left... They're fucked. Like the people who are voting on it, they're like, shit, we're actually scared of this guy now. Like...
I mean, that's
what people want. People
were not prepared.
Yeah.
They were not prepared for that style of acting. Because as good as everyone else is in this film, you know that they're all doing traditional, almost stagey, dramatised acting. Yeah. Whereas Brando's was that smouldering beneath the surface.
Apparently he got paid a lot of money for this role as well, because the director and everyone were like, shit, we need him in this.
I saw his... there's on the Blu-ray, there's a little show reel that he did for it, and he acted a scene out from Rebel Without a Cause, the James Dean film, which I've never seen, but it was his 5-minute audition tape for it, and you can just see when he walks into the room, you'd be like, this guy's going to be a movie fucking
presence.
A movie presence, yeah. Not a star, a fucking presence is the word, yeah.
Sure.
I've never really seen him in a film. I think I've seen On the Waterfront, but like years ago. This is like the first time I've seen him when he's that age.
Yeah, see, On the Waterfront is good, but he should never have won the Oscar for that.
It's safe though, isn't it?
It is a safer story and performance over this. But that's the Academy. The Academy just rewards sort of general things that they like. You might be interested to know that Tennessee Williams, the one who wrote this play, his sister had mental health problems just like Blanche did, and she got a lobotomy.
Oh shit!
Him and the family arranged for her to have a lobotomy, and then he felt massive grief and guilt about that. So the success of the fucking play gave him enough money to then pay for his sister's ongoing care after the lobotomy.
What a nice way.
It's nice in a it's kind of
horrible way.
It cannibalizes itself because he's gay. Tennessee Williams is gay,
okay,
and he wasn't out about it as well. So he was like channeling all this stuff. Apparently, his dad was a real drunk, real macho man, and his mum was just very lovely but kind of very diminutive. So he kind of just channeled all his own family stuff into this. Yeah,
that's crazy to think that he would allow that to happen at the end. Then technically his sister get carted away again.
Reality though, isn't it?
I know, it's almost like channeling it out.
Yeah.
Did you like the stuff? Did you when things were happening, like her wanting all the lights to be covered up and to be in shadows and stuff like that? Did you like that as a recurring thing or not?
No, I did. It's a weird one. I did like the film and I liked all the little bits, but it's a hard one to put my finger. It could have just been the mindset. It could be this. I'm not really into these kind of stories. I don't know, because it's hard for me to get on board a very
I think it's
dialogue heavy film. Really,
I think this film for me it's a film that if you buy it, you don't just go, I'm watching. You have to like gear yourself up a little bit for it. It's not a film you don't just scroll through Netflix, for example, and you put it on. You go, tonight I'm going to watch,
isn't it?
It's not. I wouldn't say it's a hard watch. You just got to be in a particular. You've got to be in a particular mood for it. I think that's particularly what it was for me. Like I had to watch it one night because it's the only time I had a chance to watch it. But it was probably not what the film I wanted to sit down and watch that night, which was why I struggled to get into it.
But I mean, it's tackling very dark themes. At the end of the day, there's rape in it. There's just someone getting carted off because their psychosis. There's abuse in the household. There's a guy killing himself because he was gay. It's like, and there's not a happy ending for me.
No, it's not. Even with the film ending, covering things up, it's not a fucking happy ending. And there's loads of things angles you can go down looking into it. I almost feel I would love to know that if you boys had this English like I did, if you would like it more or if you would hate it more, because you would have to, if you don't like the play. I think the bottom line is, regardless of analysis and reading into this and that, if you don't like the story, you're never going to like it. For me, on surface level, if I didn't know any of this shit, I could watch this and be like, this story's great. These characters, just the characters alone, are enough for me to buy into it, because they are just constantly sparking and clashing off each other because their styles are so fucking different, and it constantly feels like it's saying stuff about the human experience, whether it's about sex or death or regret or things, aging, new things coming into the world. All of that stuff is represented for me in the characters without even looking into it. Just the looking into it just adds more. It's almost like doing a Mulholland Drive type thing on this in order to get the more enriching stuff. But if you don't like Mulholland Drive without looking into it, there's no point. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's 100% worth delving into, this film. There's a lot. It's saying a lot.
You appreciate everything more.
It's a very sexually charged film for the 50s. Like, it's clever when you think about how they had to get around the code. It is pretty fucking clever. Like, they had the restrictions, and the way that they still managed to seed that stuff. Yeah, and even like just scenes like, I can imagine what people were thinking back then. But like when Blanche is just like with the Evening Star man, calling him a young man, saying, "I just want to kiss you just once." Yeah, it's like, man. It is fucking odd. It's fucking odd. It is. But it's like doing that at that kind of time. It's like, no wonder I can imagine no wonder the church said something about that. They'd probably love it. I know. They'd still be saying shit about that. Well, yeah, they would love it, actually. Yeah. More of this. Can we get more newspaper men coming into the apartment, please? Let's go away from academic. What was some of your funny bits? There's got to be some funny bits that you thought were funny in this, particularly with Brando, surely. Oh, you know what? I think the bit that I was actually chuckling at was when he's going through her chest and he's like, "What is this treasure chest? Is she a
I knew you were going to
diver?
say that. I love that too. Is she a pirate or something?"
yeah,
she's a pirate.
Where are your fake fox furs?
Just frying it across the room.
I have an appraiser friend. He's going to come up here and appraise all of this.
He is such a scumbag, though, isn't he? When he's like, he's talking about, I can't remember what he's talking about. When he's like, "I shut her up like a clam." I can't remember what he was referring to. I think it's someone else who, I can't remember what it is. But he's like this. He's got some good lines, some great lines in this. But yeah, the deep sea diver, man, when he spills stuff out is great. Just his whole energy, man. And like when he keeps going on about the Napoleonic Code. Yeah, loves that. He's like, "Are you familiar with the Napoleonic Code?" Now, wait a minute. Like, he's so in it. It's the biggest word he knows.
Yeah, it is. But she's terrible. Like, the thing that is good, the reason that this works with him being such an arsehole is because Blanche is so annoying at the same time. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think for me personally, she doesn't annoy me when I'm watching, because I kind of understand what's going on there. But
I think that's the difference.
It works because she annoys Brando, and because she annoys Brando, it becomes almost comical a lot of the time when he is getting angry and being brutish, because Blanche, for the most part, is almost shutting away what he's doing because she's still in fantasy land. It's only as the film goes on that she loses more and more control, and actually he gets to her. Like, it's like about an hour and 10, an hour 20 in before she finally snaps back at him and goes, "I said I was sorry 3 times already. How many times?" Before that, she was always like, "Oh my gracious, you look so strong in that t-shirt." That was her kind of response to anything that was violent or loud. "Oh gracious," and turn away from it.
It was so hot and so sweaty in that apartment, though.
But she was making it more so by having her fucking baths.
Yeah, she was, to be fair.
Humid. But do you know,
Would you reckon you would have liked this film more if it was in colour or not?
No, it's fucking perfect as is. It needs to be like this because there's so much shadow and light. The whole thing is about shadow and fucking light.
I do, but I think the setting of everything would have been more, I don't know, just enhanced. It doesn't need to be like HD, but like...
Well, go see Pascal Mescal. Is that his name? What's the guy from
Pedro.
After Sun? Pedro Mescal. He's doing it on stage right now. He's
Is
Stanley.
He? Is he?
Pedro
Right.
Pascal from After
Pedro
Sun.
Pascal.
What's the guy's name? The guy in
Paul
After Sun.
Mescal.
Paul
Yeah,
Mescal.
so-
Yeah. He's
You got
Stanley
Last
at the
of Us
moment.
and After Sun mixed up.
I was watching one of his little interviews that he was talking about when he got nominated, and how his mum. It was the day his mum started his chemotherapy, and he got his Oscar nomination.
But
Jesus.
How the world works in mysterious ways, and all of that. It's quite beautiful and wholesome.
Yeah.
I got to say this. Reading, I can imagine reading like the play, especially when you live in a story. It's just like when you read a book, you get, because you're living in that story for so much longer than a film. I think it gives you the time to kind of really like dwell on the stories and the mindsets and everything. And I can imagine loving that so much more, especially going into the play from reading it. You're going to have everything ready to go. You have all the cards ready to go. You know exactly where it's going and what to expect. And even now, just talking about it, this classic Adam line. This is a classic Adam line right here. Talking about it now, it's making me like appreciate it more.
No.
It is true.
Like,
though.
I feel like I
think
could watch it now and have those key plot lines in my head and be like, okay, now this totally makes sense why she's like this, and I think I would enjoy it a lot more.
Well, see, this is obviously why they teach it so much in English, because it can be read into.
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean, I'll rewatch it at some point when I think, oh shit, that's the type of film I want to sit down and watch.
You'll never be in that state of mind again to
Maybe it
want
might
to watch
take
this.
years, but it might happen.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I don't know, there's so many different angles that you could still go down to talk about certain things, but I don't know. I think it's better if you two just tell me this kind of stuff you want to talk about, if anything. Now.
The thing is, like, even when it comes to the ending, I still find it so hard to sympathise with Blanche. She's she's constantly such a compulsive liar. I know it's all like feeding into her psychosis, but everything is all about her, and everyone's got to love her. And I know that's obviously a problem that she needs to address, but to me, you're just an annoying person. Still.
Yeah, but you know, I would argue that there is loads in this film that explains why she is the way she is, also why she's acting the way she is, what she represents by acting the way she is, and by the end, how, because of the actions of Stanley and to an extent Mitch, it's just a further compoundment of why women are dismissed as being flighty and annoying because of the damage that men do.
But it also half is because what she did to her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. The guilt for her. The guilt for her as well. Who do you like more, Blanche or Stanley?
Oh, Blanche, of course. I like her more because he's just an absolute slob and gross person. I would not want anything to do with him. I don't think there's anything positive.
See, it's
about
interesting you say that, because you have like, this is interesting because you have gone, I'm not saying that it's wrong what you're saying, but for you they are two extremes. She's annoying and he is a slob.
Yeah.
But I think that's like one facet of who they are.
You say there's positive light in Stanley?
I think there is positive light in Stanley. He's a hard worker. He goes out. He's common. He's unpolished, he's uncouth, but ultimately he's a working man. He's going out there, he's providing for the house, he's trying to do something. He understands that when Blanche comes into the house and has talked about the sale of Belle Reve and that it's lost and all of that stuff, he understands that she's trying to do one over on her sister, and he doesn't like that. He actually likes truth. He doesn't talk in flighty ways. He talks about reality. He's a realist, whereas Blanche is very deceptive. He never deceives. Stanley never tries to deceive. You get what you know what you're getting with that man. He may be a horrible person, but I don't think he's a slob, because if he was a slob, he'd be, I don't care about anything. I'm not going out to work. I'm just drinking all the time, and that's it. But he fights. He wants Stella. I think he does love Stella, and the passion that they have is kind of what
Stella. Yeah.
What adds yet another layer to them. It's animalistic. He's primal. He is an ape, like she says.
Caveman.
But I don't think he's just, you fucking suck. You know, obviously what he does at the end, yeah.
Well, that's it. I think the evil things he does override the small good things he does. Like, yes, he brings in money for the house. Yes, he loves Stella. But you also raped her sister, and you beat up your wife, and you basically drink and play poker and don't really do anything in the house and say, where's my dinner, put it on the table.
Yeah. You know those old style fucking values.
Shut her up like a clam.
Yeah.
I realised what it was about now. It's when Blanche is having the first proper conversation with him, when he's about to say cut that Reebok.
Yeah.
And she's talking about don't you tell people how beautiful they are, and he's like, that's not me, I don't do that. When someone says that, I told her to shut her up like a clam. I'd shut her up like a clam. But that's a great little scene, because you can feel the tension. You know that he's about to confront why she lost Belle what was it, Belle Reve?
Belle Reve or Belle Rev.
Belle Rev. And so what do you think about it? Do you think that she purposely got rid of it and actually profited from it?
I think she just lost it. I think it was right at the end. I think that's what sort of spurned her to be here, because she has lost it. I don't think she purposely sold it, because for me, she almost ends up with Stella because she has nowhere else to go. She's looking for a safe space.
Yeah.
I think like she does, there will be some sort of con at play where she's taken a bit of money from it to get all her fine fancy clothes and shit, but
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Well, weren't they rich anyway?
That's what I mean. They came from money, but Stella wasn't rich anymore. Stella, like Stanley said, you know, you were up on that pillar and baby, I pulled you down and you loved it.
Yeah. I was one
fucking
of the
gross, man.
Common as dirt, wasn't it?
No, but I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know about that.
You loved it.
Yeah, but it's kind of like,
was that in the script, or did you say that?
No,
I don't know. He said something like
I was common as dirt.
I think that sentence more than anything what turned me off. You loved it.
But that's what I like about Stella, is that her character, you know, she didn't want to be part of that flighty fucking world anymore. She saw someone who Blanche dismisses as a common pig, but actually sees something decent and nice. Maybe not decent and nice. Sees something in him. Generally, it's fucking sex. It's just fucking passion and desire, brutal. She wants to be fucked, and she wants to fuck him, and that's what their whole relationship is based on for the most part. It's why she's so forgiving of everything that he does, because he's just so fucking primal in the sack with her. And that's what he says, you know, wasn't it better before she was around? Can't we get them coloured lights going again? He keeps talking about the coloured lights. The coloured lights is just fucking wild, passionate sex that the two of them are having, and Stella's content with that. Yeah, she's content to just have this passionate primal lifestyle, where at least she's got this relationship with this guy who is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but she's happy with him.
Yeah, I think you're right there, because I did get that feeling from Blanche as well, that she was really snotty and felt she was better than everyone else. She felt that she still had that like upper class snobbery about her, and looking down her nose at people, and you're not living in this place, are you? Oh god. So I think that's immediately turned me off from that as well. And I think they both have their flaws. I end up liking Blanche more, I mean, I probably like Stella the most. If anything, she's probably the most sympathetic character. But yeah, they all have their flaws, and I mean that's what makes a good character, isn't it?
Yeah, and she is, but it's like it's because she is still fooling herself even while she's living in that situation, even when she's imposed herself because she's got nowhere else to go. She's fooling herself that her life is better than it is, but her life is a fucking tragedy.
Yeah,
she's the worst off out of everyone in this film, and at the end she gets carted off to a fucking mental institute. She has the worst life of anyone. It's fucking depressing what has happened to her. But she's
for sure.
Fooling herself. I have elderly relatives. My nan and her sisters and brothers, and my granddad as well. They were all grew up in India, and then after World War II, they came over here. And in India, of course, you know, the British were over there, so they lived in these opulent mansions and had people waiting on them hand and foot. And then they came over here and suddenly didn't have that and had to live in a 2 up, 2 down in like Streatham and Tooting. And that was a fucking harsh reality to get used to. And my nan and her sisters particularly all held on, even when they were living in Streatham and going doing their shopping in Lidl's and all that stuff, held on to the idea that they were upper fucking class. They were highfalutin, the way they carried themselves, the way they presented themselves, not in a offensive way, but they absolutely had ideas above their station, because it's like they knew what they had and they wanted to keep that. It's like, okay, I'm in this setting now, but I want to keep this. And it made you look at them and think, you are classy, because you carried that mentality with you. And Blanche was trying to do that, but she's come into a house where no one has any fucking time for that. It's a new world. Stanley represents a new fucking world.
For sure. Don't want any part of it, mate.
An unforgiving world.
No.
It's a whole new world.
Here comes the singing.
It's a whole new fantasy.
Well, anyway, look, you know, there's going to be people out there who've seen the film, who know the play, who are listening to this, who are like, why didn't you talk about this, that, or the other? I'm sorry, I know that there's other things, but we ain't got fucking months and months and months. We haven't even really talked about, like, well, no, forget it.
I'd like to say one thing though that I thought was pretty cool, a little fact I saw. As the film progresses, the set of the apartment gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah,
depending on the height of Blanche's claustrophobia. That's pretty cool. I reckon they just push the walls in.
There's nowhere to run at the end.
Yeah.
When he's there. Like when he's talking about, you know, like that is intimidating, man. When he's there, when they're waiting for the baby to be born, and he's there, he's like, "Come on, just have a drink with me now." Like,
so he is so excited in that moment as well, though.
Is that the night he rapes her?
Yeah.
But he gets almost carried away and everything. He's almost, he's just gone mental, isn't it?
There's almost like a moment where you're like, oh, maybe he's just really high and like enjoying this moment, and he's actually this is gonna be the nicest he's gonna be to her. And then he just fucks it.
Yeah. All that stuff, like with his silk pajamas, and he's like, the minute that phone rings and they tell me I've got a baby boy, I'm ripping these off and waving them over my head like a flag. And it's like that right there is the sexual imagery.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how brutish he is. He's got this fragile woman there, and he's talking about ripping his clothes off, so he's going to be pretty much naked and wildly storming around the apartment. It's there. The guy, Tennessee Williams, just loves fucking red hot passion, and that's why all these little things come back to me. You notice that there's a man who appears at the beginning, the middle, and the end, and he's going red hot. That's in the play. It opens and middle and ends like that, because red hot, they're selling red hot chilies and peppers. That's something that you have in New Orleans, but also red hot. The content of this is red hot. It's searing hot desire. And I love that line. Haven't you ever ridden that streetcar before? You know I have. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, anyway, there's plenty more. I love it all. I'm going to end the last thing that I want to say on this is a quote, which I would say I could never articulate it this way, but this is the best. This is how I feel. I'm going to tell you who the quote is attributed to at the end. The movie Streetcar is, for me, total artistic perfection. It's the most perfect confluence of script, performance, and direction I've ever seen. I agree with Richard Schickel, who calls the play perfect. The characters are so perfectly written. Every nuance, every instinct, every line of dialogue is the best choice of all those available in the known universe. All the performances are sensational. Vivian Leigh is incomparable, more real and vivid than real people I know. I fucking love that line. That is true. That is fucking true. And Marlon Brando was a living poem. He was an actor who came on a scene and changed the history of acting. The magic, the setting, New Orleans, the French Quarter, the rainy, humid afternoons, the poker night. Artistic genius. No holds barred. And I could never articulate it that way, but I agree with everything there. Do you know who said that?
Julio, probably.
No, it's a famous man.
Julio.
Luke.
Yeah,
Human.
Julio. That was Woody Allen.
Oh, wow.
What's that famous line in this film? It's something like, I judge my kindness on the kind of strangers.
I've always relied on the kindness of strangers. I've always depended on the kindness of strangers. The closing line. That's the big line that gets associated with this outside of Stella.
And they always let them down.
Yeah. Always let her down. But equally, it's kind of shows why she kept going to all these men because she was so vulnerable. She is fucking vulnerable, man. It's why she keeps going to these men. It's not because she's a whore. It's not because she has no respect for herself and just wants these men's attention. Well, she does, but she's looking for someone to tell her she's okay. And that's why I think watching this most recent time, I was really upset by what happens with Mitch, because by Stanley telling Mitch, that was a callous fucking cruel act.
Yeah, really.
It was sad that he didn't turn up to her birthday party. It was sad when he did turn up that Mitch revealed himself to be just as much of a prick as Stanley in many ways by saying shit like, I'm not going to take you home to my mother. You're not clean enough to be around my mother.
Still jumping her, though.
He tries to rape her. Yeah, exactly. His attempt is a fucking rape on her as well. It's all of it is fucking carnal desire gone very, very fucking wrong. Everyone. Everyone's at the mercy of their sexual impulses in this. The way he grabs her at the end, he rips where Mitch is like, let me see you in the light, and he rips that Chinese lantern off and holds her up against the wall under the light. Fuck.
Let me see who you really are.
It's like, come on, woman, let's bear you for who you are. There's all sorts of sexual politics at play here.
Yeah, good stuff.
Anyway, boys, you got anything else to say, or should we wrap this up?
Let's wrap this up.
Oh, yeah.
Let's have the scores then, Adam.
I give this film, I don't know actually. I give it a 6 out of 10.
That's where I thought you were shooting.
I was thinking about going for a 7, but I thought it's not quite a 7 for me.
That's all right, Paulie.
So this is the struggle, because
it was a 6 and now you want it to be a 7.
Well, because this is the magic of the podcast.
I know,
look at
this. Is, you have got me for fucking saying this all the time, and now look at you.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen often. But do you know when just like passion just comes out of someone, and then you can kind of see the film for what it really is?
I do agree.
Because I've come out.
I was maybe thinking about a 7, but nah.
I've come out at the end of this podcast appreciating and understanding the story more than I did before I started it.
I am very glad.
I think
I'm giving it a 7. Yeah, I'm giving it a 7.
Okay.
A 7.
Give it a 7.
That's a good one. I tell you what would be super interesting is if by the end of this year you boys have rewatched the film and it comes to reevaluating a film, if you would go up.
Yeah.
What is it, mine?
I don't know.
I told you it was 10. Well, you probably won't. We'll see. Who knows? Like I said, the play is 10 out of 10. Fucking absolutely adored the play. I adore this film. It had to work within the constraints of the production code. It couldn't have done it any differently. However, I'm judging the film. I don't agree with that ending. The ending should have been Stella staying with Stanley, because that shows and further compounds the real tragedy of the whole piece. That is the ending that I needed to see. I didn't care about the hinting at the homosexuality. I didn't care about the hinting at the rape and all that stuff. That's fine. The ending is the only thing that leaves that sour taste in my mouth. So the fucking play is 10 out of 10. The film is as good as it could have been, but not as good as it should have been. So the film is a 9 out of 10 for me.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to go for an 8.
No. I'm a hit. Wow, come on, man. This is Streetcar Named Design. I had to check. This is the best film for me in the whole of the 50s when I was looking at all the films that I've rated from the 50s. Okay. The second is Psycho. Like, for me, this is blow Psycho away. I'll take this over Psycho every day of the week.
I can totally see why you would, yeah. This is bang up your street.
Well, there you go. And I recommend you go see it. And do you know what? It's funny. It's funny how life works. I've never seen any other Tennessee Williams play. And tomorrow night, I'm going to see my uncle in a Tennessee Williams play.
Wow.
What is it?
Saturday night. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that before?
Never seen it before. Don't know the story.
It's about a cat. And he keeps putting his feet down and he can't put his feet down, so it's just bouncing up and down.
No, but there you go. You can see already
Metaphor.
The metaphor there. The cat on a hot tin roof. You know, some you've already got the heat at play. You've got the erratic behaviour. My uncle is playing the character Big Daddy in it.
Oh, baby.
I can't wait to see who Big Daddy is, but I know he's going to have that southern accent because it's all set in the south. So I look forward to that.
Wonderful.
Anyway, listeners, what that means is we have a score of 7.33, which means we need to start positioning this film. So, boys, the first one is Possum. Better or worse than Possum?
Possum's better.
What are you saying, Adam? In fact, what did Adam give Possum?
Off the top of my head, I would say this is better, but then it obviously depends on my scores.
You gave Possum a 7. Fuck me.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. There we go. Oh, man. So there it is. So it's bottom of the 7.33s. Fuck. Listen to this. We have above Streetcar Named Desire, Avengers Endgame, Domino.
Yeah. All those
Right
films
on,
are
yeah.
better for me.
Funny Games, Dragged Across Concrete.
That is interesting because, yeah, for me, all those films... Let me see how far it goes up. 13 probably isn't better. The Gentleman isn't better.
You know what? I hate that. I can't stand for that. I won't stand for it.
Well, luckily...
In an episode first, I'm changing my score.
Are you?
I'm changing my score because...
Can you do that? Isn't it too late?
No, we're still in the episode. I think when you
Go on,
inhabit
then.
the world of the
I'll let
episode,
You're taking
change
your
it.
finger off the chess piece, therefore the thing has to stand.
Listen, the finger was on the chess piece. It would have left the chess piece the minute we stopped recording. I'm going to tell you my reasons why. Number one, I've never felt more passionately about the fact that a film as good as this should sit below something like Avengers Endgame, for example. That particularly is a rub. But second of all,
I get where you're coming from on that.
yeah, I simply cannot. I can't allow that. Unless this was a 10-year-old's podcast, I can't allow
might
that.
enjoy Avengers Endgame more than this film, but if the world is about to come down, if there's a meteor coming towards Earth, and you've got a copy of each film in your hand, and you can only save one to put it into a vault for humans to rewatch again later on, you'd pick this. You pick Streetcar.
Okay, Ben, I need you to know something right now, okay?
Yeah.
If you do this, you're going to be immediately in contention with Infinity War, and it won't beat it. And it's going to be next to it.
Well, listen, I'll take that. I'll take it because at least it beats one of them. But the other reason that I'm telling you that I'm going to give this a 10 is that I'm thinking about it, and I was mulling this over in my head before.
Okay, this is the thing that does it.
It is the fact that, right, you have to put yourself in the frame of mind that there was this code back then, right? They couldn't have made it any other way. Even if I could go back and say, change that ending and put it that way, because that will make it a 10 for me, they would have said, understand, impossible, cannot be done, cannot be done. There is no way. They did as much as they could. They did as much as they fucking could. It's easy for me to say it in 2023. Oh, we should have seen that. Fuck it.
Yeah,
it's a 10. I'm pushing it up. And as Paul said, it goes up against another Avengers film, Infinity
What if
War.
I change my score to give it to a 7?
No, don't you dare. Is that true? Avengers Infinity War. What score do you give it, Adam?
7.66 is.
What score do you give Avengers Infinity War?
I probably gave it an 8.
Oh man. Yeah.
So it gets a 7.7, and it's just below Avengers Infinity War. If any patrons love Ben, they will come along and give this all a 10 out of 10 just so they can make him happy.
I would say that out of all the films we've ever covered, this is the one to help me out on, patrons. When you can, this is the one to help me out on.
You 100% know Jamie's
He'll be
gonna
very
get it.
grateful.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know that anyone would.
I reckon Jamie will get you back.
I reckon Julio would.
Julio
Is
gives
Julio
this an
would
8, if I recall.
Well, it'd
Yeah, but he
still help
also
it
loves
out.
Avengers more than he loves this, probably, though.
And he
probably
does,
gives
yes.
Endgame
He probably
10.
likes that. He probably likes that he's above it.
Oh, fuck me. Yeah, I don't know. That was it. Listen, like I say.
We'll get Dan to change it next week.
Yeah, Dan,
gives it a
Dan,
six.
and this
Dan
is the
gives it
loop
a
back.
6,
Dan
so-
gives it a 6. So when you were talking about he was worried that I would criticise one of his films, he's just given this a 6. So we go to war. Fuck, mental, boys. But there you go. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, it's that whole thing I just said of like, if you had to save one of these films to be archived into history for like the world was going to end, like if you put it in a time capsule for the next species to watch, you'd pick Streetcar.
What, over Infinity War?
Yeah.
Nah, I wouldn't. I'll pick Infinity War. This is a milestone in cinema history of making a franchise that builds up to a mega film. So
Star Wars.
It's
Harry
on
Potter.
McDonald's.
Star Wars
It's
is
just it's basically going to a fucking steak restaurant in Mayfair and saying it was good, but
give
it's not
me
as
a
good
really
as
nice
McDonald's.
burger.
Give me McDonald's. Yeah, but that's the thing. In the menu, that really nice cheeseburger is actually a well-cooked cheeseburger that you would get at Goodman's in Mayfair or something like that. You
But
don't
it
get a
really
good
is
cheeseburger
good,
at McDonald's.
McDonald's do a
It
good
really is
cheeseburger.
good.
So, fuck. I just wish... It's crazy. Nothing gets in my craw more than when we come to this score sheet and I see Avengers above films that are so good by comparison. I know, and this is the thing. There's other things that are way above that you'd go, what? Come on now. Like, for example, John Wick Chapter 3,
let's
which I
just
know
do
I
this.
liked, but like, in what world is John Wick Chapter 3 better than Streetcar Named
But
Desire?
then
It simply
it's
isn't.
the same thing. I could switch it out to me and be like, I can't believe Infinity War's not higher. Because you two have put it down on purpose to make it go lower, where I love it so much. So it means something to me when it's on a certain position
Mate,
in the board.
You cannot complain because you have got Joker way up there.
Oh, I know, but you can't complain because you've got fucking Cinema Paradiso.
Mate, would you give
Number
Cinema
2.
Paradiso?
I give it a 10.
Exactly. So what are you talking about?
No,
You
what I
give it a
mean,
10.
one of your amazing films is right up there.
Yes, I know.
Mulholland Drive's up there. I give it an 8.
Listen, I'm not talking about any of these films. I am talking about these Marvels particular.
I know.
Every
but
Marvel that is on
I
this list
particularly love
is an
that
affront.
film. 10 out of 10. So what's the difference between you giving this a 10 out of 10 and me giving Infinity War a 10 out of 10? There's nothing. It's just that
Well,
we both love different things.
Yeah, I know.
They're both hot and steamy in other
But
ways.
something doesn't strike me right that I could rate. Like, you boys have given 6, 7, and 10 for today's film.
Mm.
But Avengers Infinity War got a 5 from me.
5,
And it's
8,
somehow
and 10.
still above.
Because Adam gives it higher than this.
I'm just
I mean,
sitting on
here's the
this fence
reality.
here.
When it comes to films like this, whenever we review, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying there's always going to be a bias towards the kind of films that you like, because the kind of films those sorts of films, Marvels and stuff, you like to rate high. Adam criticizes them, but he actually enjoys them, so he's always going to rate them high as well. And my low rating will then get cancelled out, so it will go high. The flip side is if there's a film like this, if you guys like it, it's not like a popcorn movie for Adam to enjoy where he's going to go in with an 8. Adam's still going to go, yeah, it was good, but it's fucking low. So it's going to be 2 low scores against my 1 high score. Whereas for you, it's going to be 1 top score, 1 high score, and then 1 low score.
Well, that's the difference, isn't it? Because it depends what you go to cinema for. If you're going to cinema for a good time, if you have a good time, you have a good time. Whereas this, me and Adam struggle a bit, but then I'll one round with your passion for it.
I know, I'm just being bitter. I'm just being bitter.
We have this argument at least once a month on this podcast.
I know. People like to hear it. Everyone likes to hear it.
It never changes, and Ben will carry on waffling about it for the next 5 minutes, even
No,
when
I
we go
tell
into the
you- I tell
Patreon at
you.
the end of it.
mark this episode and remember this as we record on December the 19th, 2023. I say it now. Mm-hmm. If no one else helps Streetcar Named Desire, I will drop Infinity War's score down to a 1.
Look at that threat. You're threatening.
Yeah, one way or the other, it's going to happen. I will Thanos fucking thumb click and crash it to as low as I can.
I mean, if you feel that strongly about it, go for it.
I do. I've never felt more strongly. So let's see. Patrons, either you help or I'll do it.
It's fine. It doesn't affect my love for it.
I know, it's fine. There we go. It's my first 10 of the year.
There you go. Well done. Right, do you want to hear some things that people have
It's
to
not
say?
even a legit 10, it is a 9 at heart, but you've gone in with your anger and passions over.
No, listen, I had to. There were two things that justified it. I've both points. I simply, as a film lover / snob, I cannot see it below both Avengers films, so I had to save it from that. It was my duty in my own pathetic way. And two, we're dealing with the Hays Code. We have never dealt with films from this time period before. We've never covered films from this time period before where there were restrictions on what you could show in film. So I'm going to rate accordingly.
That's absolutely fine. You do you, bro.
See, Strangers on a Train, there was nothing in there that, if the code wasn't around, would have improved the film. As far as I could see.
The homosexual tones.
The homosexual tones, but even if they
It's
were
almost
to the
subtle
forefront,
anyway.
It would almost
Subtly
work
placed.
better when they were subtle.
it works exactly. I think that the code probably helped. Let's see if Paul's film. What I'm thrilled to see what we're doing next.
Oh yeah. Well, let's just talk about. We got a review from Julio, of all people.
Oh, do we?
And it's of Infinity War.
Shit.
Here you go. I'm joking. He says, "I swear, if we don't get at least one of you attempting this iconic line," and he did, "Stella," a little gif of that. And he says, anyway, electrifying performances for Brando. You're so in awe, you almost look past what a monster is until the very end. I never look past what the monster is. I'm sorry, Julio.
Yeah, it's and here's the other thing. The thing that's beautiful is the two ways that they approach Stella. So Blanche, when she meets Stella after all that time, it's going, "Oh, Stella, Stella, Stella for star, Stella for star." Something so gentle and soft and lovely. But Stella's name in Stanley's mouth is Stella, like screaming it out like that. He just these two people, their approach to something as simple as a name tells you everything about their personalities.
Yeah,
soft, fantastical, brutal, realistic.
Exactly. And how about this? And a little reply to Julio. We have Spit and Polish saying, "He's no Alec Baldwin."
Yeah, I know. That's got to be. But I think that said tongue in cheek. Surely, I haven't seen Alec Baldwin, but it's got to be. We can't talk about Alec Baldwin at the moment. He's on trial for murder. We got a email sent through.
He's in trial for
cease and desist.
manslaughter, not murder.
Cease and desist. Stop.
They don't want us to talk about it, Adam. So he's in trial for murder, as far as I'm concerned. But they don't want us to talk about it.
Don't talk about it.
Did Julio like it? He gave it an 8, isn't it? Julio is a man who likes a good stage show. I'm very surprised he gave the film an 8.
I've just signed up for tickets for Streetcar Named Desire, but they're all sold out. So if they release more, then you get a notification.
There you go.
We go as a
Lovely.
Filmbusters. We'll do our first ever Filmbusters theatre review.
Theatre Busters.
When I was at sixth form, one of the productions that the English class got tickets for, but I didn't end up going to, had Glenn Close as Blanche. Gutted to miss that.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Aye.
Right, do you want my film?
Yes. Where are we going in 1951 next?
Right, so this is obviously not going to be next episode. It will be the episode after next episode. And
Yeah.
we're going to 1951, as you all know.
Should hope so.
We're going to a film that none of us have watched, or any of my letterboxed followers, which is interesting. It is by Joseph Luzzi, and it's called The Prowler. Shall I give you a little plot description?
I thought
Yes,
you were going to pick
please.
the film I picked.
The
I had my
tagline
head
is,
planned out.
"Watch out for ... The Prowler, obviously." And it says, Los Angeles, California. A cop who, unhappy with his job, blames others for his work problems. is assigned to investigate the case of a prowler who stalks the home of a married woman. That's all we know. And for anyone who wants to watch it, it's on YouTube, or it's on archive.org, so you can watch it for free. Just type it in, say watch The Prowler 1951, and you will find it for free.
Is the YouTube one HD? Or not
I don't know,
HD,
but the archive one is. The archive.org one is, so.
Interesting. So I feel like, based on the plot summary, that may have to get around the code in a little bit of a way.
Potentially there, that's what I thought.
When did the code finish?
The code finished in like 61, I want to say. Maybe it ran for longer. Let me see.
I think you checked this last episode.
Yeah, I did, because I definitely said it. 34 to 68, the Hayes Code.
68, shit.
So 51 was slap bang in the middle. 17 years after it started, 17 years before it ended.
Back in Nosferatu, they were just like saying, I'm gay. Tell everyone I'm gay.
But I guess, I mean, the thing is, before that, I wonder if there was a film that was made, and then Hollywood said,
Before that, yeah. Like, that was the one that they changed it for.
Scarface, 1932. Yeah, I was about to say, Paul Mooney's Scarface, 1932. Lots of violence in that.
True.
For a film that was made before that. That was 2 years before the code came through. Interesting. There you go.
Well, there you go.
At least we ain't got a code. Although we do, a box office code nowadays. That's what we're constrained by. Is it going to make money? Can we get 30 fucking films out of this one film you make? No. Well, we're not making it then.
Exactly. That's the code.
Yeah.
Money.
Can we get the most bland, boring fucking characters in the world on screen in this one? No. Well, we're not making it then.
Yes, we can. After 10 years, we can.
What does that mean?
Infinity War.
Oh.
Right, that's it. The Prowler. That's going to be our next 1951 film. Shall we move on to what our patrons have to say?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. We got patrons. We got a Patreon channel at www.patreon.com/filmbusters, and every week they send us the best and worst of the things they've been watching. So, if you want to become a patron, you can become a patron just like the likes of Jason Clarkson.
Yes, you can. You can also join Francis Cibarini.
You can also join Andy Bishop.
You could also join Benny from Film Floggers.
Yeah, and you can also join Mark and Steve from Movie Drone.
You can join Home Video Hustle.
You can join Mr. Luke Human. Yes, you can.
It's just got the guy who's got his new album coming out soon, Sean Padden Nicholson.
Oh, nice plug.
Nice plug.
You've got Nerd Revert.
Yes, you got the person who inspired this round of 1951, Mr. Julio from The Contrarians.
You also got the person that Ben turned into today. You got Jamie Russell.
And that's a compliment, I'll take it. And finally, we've got Katie and OT.
Whoa.
First of all, we have Sean Panner Nicholson, and he says, "Hello, busting buddies. Hope the land of film finds you well this week. It sure does. Thank you. I have just the one for my best and worst this week. I really don't know what to think of Damien Chazelle's Babylon. There were scenes in there that I absolutely loved, but as a whole, felt messy. I felt as though it would have been amazing as a 6-part series, as you follow some great characters, but don't fully explore them as much as I would have liked. Having said that, there's a loads in there I loved. I think I'm going to go to the cinema and watch it again, and maybe that's why it's brilliant. Or shit. I really don't know. I think I need more people to watch it so I can talk about it more and exchange ideas on it, but I definitely feel like it would have suited the miniseries treatment rather than an overstuffed movie. Either way, that bastard Chazelle has got me to watch it at least twice, so he wins. Much love from the Bamboo Forest. Yes, it's a reference to my name."
Yes.
Thanks for pointing it out this time, Sean. Now I get it.
Yeah. Oh.
Babylon. There we go.
I still haven't seen it. I was going to go see it the other day, and then I just looked at the time, and I was like, this is way too long.
I'm not going to see it on principle. I'll catch it later down the line.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll wait. That and The Fabelmans at the moment, and Tar. It's actually quite a bit out, but it's just like, I get a free 3 hours. I don't want to go sit in the cinema.
Babylon just feels to me like a director who's still sore for not winning the Oscar, almost getting the Oscar, and then having to hand it over to Moonlight. So it's like, right, let me absolutely definitively make this fucking film about
Oscar
the film
bait.
industry, so the Academy has to give me the Oscar.
You won't.
And it's
Spielberg will get it.
Well,
I think Spielberg will get it.
unlucky for them then. I hope so.
Banshee should get it, but I think Spielberg will. I mean, I haven't seen Fableman, so I can't really comment on it.
I feel irrationally like I don't like that guy who did it, because I feel like, yeah, but I don't think it's Chazelle. I think it's the bald guy who was so cross on stage. But equally, he was disappointed, which is fine. You can't get wrong with it. But the thing is, it feels like he has made these films to be like, I have to win awards, please.
I mean, that's what everyone makes an old film for, and Oscar season, isn't it? Though.
Not really. If that's what's driving you, then I wish you'd state that from the off. And yeah, a good film is a good film.
Anyway, Katie and Oti are here, and they're not even going to talk about a film. They're going to talk about a TV series.
Oh, like last time
Yes.
when you weren't around, I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Katie and Oti say, Paul already knows, but we finally have lifted the mask, if you pardon the pun, on the HBO series Watchmen. Oti has watched the movie, but this is my first introduction into the world. Don't know much about the behind-the-scenes creative control, but etc. But whoa, blown away at the expanse, vision, and solid performances. We are holding on to the last few episodes because we don't want it to end too soon.
Let me just say, Adam, I've never seen you read a sentence or a paragraph better.
I know.
I read
you
it,
did
I read
very
it
well
like
there.
3 times before when you were reading Sean's.
That was very good.
Even though you said whoa.
Woo. Whoa. That's
Wow.
Wow. Whoa. That's the same way.
It was perfect. Don't worry about Ben bullying you
Yeah,
about
I just read it before. I just read it before twice, so I knew what was coming.
So was that TV series. It was perfect.
Yeah, so great.
10
so
out of 10.
good. Yeah.
Is it like a one-off series? Or
you
one
haven't
like-
seen it, Adam?
No.
Oh, you should watch it.
Watch it. And, mate, trust me, you don't even need to watch the film, because after
I've
it
watched
finished...
it. I've seen the film.
I know, but it's not based on you having watched the film.
No,
to
it's more the
understand
comic
it.
books.
No.
The film was...
Is it just like a
Poor.
one and done?
Yeah, one and done. 10 episodes. Incredible stuff.
I started watching Severance last night.
You started watching it?
Yeah, I watched the first episode last night.
Yeah, good. I just finished it a few days ago. Yeah, I mean, everything was amazing about Watchmen.
I kind of want to watch it again with Zoe, just cause.
It
Fair
was
enough.
special. How do you feel about now? Paul, you tend to do this, but actually no, both of you tend to do this. Rewatching TV series.
How do I feel about it?
I just think there's so much comfort in it. I'm in a mood where I would just really want to rewatch stuff at the moment. I just think there's a comfort in rewatching stuff and
Yeah, for
going
sure.
back. I feel like I've gone to a space now. I've watched so many films that you kind of forget films and you want to go back and watch them again just because you can.
You know you're going to have a good time. It's worth.
Yeah, you know
the
you're
ride
gonna have a
kind
good
of
time,
thing.
but there's also so many things like films you're unsure of, or things you want to pick stuff up on again, or just see how they panned out and all of that kind of stuff.
I love a bit of rewatching.
Mm.
How about you?
No, that's what I was going to say. Unless it's something I absolutely adore, I don't go back and rewatch TV series. There's too many films out there, baby.
Well, yeah, I'll only rewatch something I adore. Like I adore this Watchmen, hence why I'd watch it again.
Luke Human says 2022's decision to leave is an achingly good-looking blend of genres that is deeply focused on character, with a tone reminiscent of In the Mood for Love, but with the added aspect of the criminal investigation. This manages to balance thriller elements with one of the most engaging love stories in contemporary cinema. Hai Il excels as an aging insomniac detective weighed down by the expectations of his early career success. He's able to be deeply flawed and completely sympathetic at the same time. As is Wei, who plays the potential femme fatale with beautiful ambiguity, chucking some excellent cinematic devices portraying imagined and real perspectives within the superb 2-act structure, and you've got a seriously good piece of cinema. 9 out of 10. I'm very excited to watch that, and that's half the
I'm
reason why I've
excited
got
to.
Mubi.
I am.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it as well.
I think that is probably my next up on Mubi.
It's on my watch list as well.
Are you going to rewatch After Sun before or not?
No,
We
I have to be in the
won't we?
frame of mind. So I'm looking forward to that one. I'm
Absolutely.
looking forward to that one. There's the British Channel's got this whole season of his shit on over there.
Yeah,
at the
no, that's
moment.
why I said when we do the film with Dan to go see, was it 2046.
Yeah, but didn't he say it was like quite romantic?
It's quite romantic.
It's the wrong crowd. It's the wrong crowd to be doing it with.
Yeah.
Me, Dan, and Adam talking about
Holding hands.
Yeah. I'm sure
thanks,
all
Luke.
these boys can be sensitive too.
Yes, of course. Thanks, Luke. I will definitely watch that soon because I've got my 90-day subscription.
Just to say, I have, since we started recording the podcast, I've had Streetcar Named Desire playing in the background, and it's just gone on to credits.
Oh, wow.
So that was the link for the film.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
That's good. Wow, we were.
Mm-hmm.
Right, shall we say goodbye and then move on to our Patreon?
Let's say goodbye to these idiots.
Yeah. Remember, you can come and listen to our Patreon episode, www.patreon.com/filmbusters. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'm going on holiday, so I hope you enjoy the episode next week. It'll be chaos.
Bon voyage. Enjoy Lanzarote. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
I hope that you'll help me come year end, dear patrons.
Film